Hey there, members of the Altcoin Buzz Army. Happy Tuesday. Matty here with you. Hope you're having a great one. And boy, do we have a bloody market to cover today. Total cryptocurrency market cap down 9.5%. Really on the basis of more and more FUD. Despite all of this positive international news, we now have this fleet of countries that are either entering into Bitcoin and crypto or expressing interest to do so. Despite all of that overwhelming positivity, which would have been like the holy grail back in 2017, the price of Bitcoin and the price of other cryptocurrency assets are falling based on a lot of FUD. Taking a look at some of the dominance metrics here, very interesting. Bitcoin's still below 40%, Ethereum at 18.8%. In other words, at nearly 50% of Bitcoin's dominance value. We're going to be taking a look at that. Of course, at the end of this video, we're giving away another $50 worth of ETH, so stay tuned to the end to see if your comment from yesterday's video is the winner of that $50 worth of Ether. We're going to be talking a little bit about some specific altcoins, namely Polygon, VeChain, Linear Finance, but really I want to take a look at the macro perspective and get a sense for what's happening on the world stage right now. First of all, there are some indications to suggest that Ethereum, again, despite unfortunately the bearishness that we're seeing, Ethereum is on pace to do pretty well once things turn around. Here on CoinDesk.com, you can check this out. Bitcoin in tight 35 to 36K range no longer, unfortunately, but Ether volumes are still beating Bitcoin. Take a look at that if you're so inclined. I don't want to discuss any of the FUD. The FUDsters right now are having a field day. I almost suspect it's in response to all this positivity that we're seeing out of South and Central America. But the FUDsters are just working on overdrive. Eventually, they're going to run out of ammunition. Eventually, there's nothing more that they're going to be able to do or that they're going to be able to say. I hope they keep going. I hope they drive down the price of Bitcoin to 20, to 10K, to 5K, to $1,000. Let them drive down the price of Bitcoin to $1 again. I'll be loading up. Believe me, the lower it goes, the more people like me buy, and probably people like you. I'm not claiming to be smart money or anything, but there's nothing that's going to discourage me from this point. For the rest of my life, there is nothing that is going to discourage me. So you may as well keep driving the price down because I will be accumulating more and more and more. You are affording myself and all of us collectively, you FUDsters are affording us the opportunity. So I should be thanking you. I don't want to cover the Donald Trump FUD. Not even all that serious. He said a small little quip about Bitcoin as a guest, almost like as a side point too, during his guest segment on this particular show. He said he's not a fan of Bitcoin because, no surprise, as a former US president, he has to, his job formally, and the job of any really politician, arguably, is to uphold the value of the USD and really, by extension, the world's confidence in the dollar. So Donald Trump said he's going to be supporting the USD and not Bitcoin. I mean, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to even predict that that would have been his comment. Again, I don't want to cover much more of the negative. I want to take a look at the positive. Now, here's a great clip that, unfortunately, you heard a little bit of it there. Unfortunately, I can't play any of the audio. I think it's a Santigold song, and look, this has been used to express a lot of different points, right? Kind of the power of one individual kind of going out there, putting it all on the line, putting out positive energy, and then attracting others into that headspace, right? Into that mentality. The one solo individual that's bold enough, that's going out there dancing on their own. In this case, as per not documenting Bitcoin, excuse me. We'll get to documenting Bitcoin in a sec. Bitcoin archive here. El Salvador starts dancing. As you can see, Paraguay was the number 2. Paraguay joins in full support. They're at it for a little bit together. And then Brazil, the big guy there that just came in. Brazil can't resist. And now you're seeing this cascade. Now you're seeing the three of these guys, the three countries, right, personified, are starting to attract a lot of other attention. They're all coming to the Bitcoin party. This is how it begins, right? You have, in any kind of growth curve and any kind of paradigm shift, you have the very, very early adopters. And, before actually the early adopters, you have those that are almost the experimentalists that are trying something that hasn't quite been proven, those that are, pioneers, whether it's technology or anything else, by the way. But you have kind of those that are on the bleeding edge. That would be, in this case, El Salvador, Paraguay, maybe arguably Brazil. Then you have some of the early adopters, which, as you can see now, the throngs of people kind of rushing in. Once there's some confidence that's been established, everybody else feels like, okay, it's safe for me to dance now. This is like a thing. I can do this, right? It's been legitimized. It's been validated. It's human psychology 101. And we're commenting on the phenomenon here. Updated laser eyes nations of the week. So yesterday I was reporting about El Salvador, and Paraguay was kind of like breaking news at the time I made the video. Already in the last 24 hours, yes, we have not only El Salvador, Paraguay. Add to that now Panama, Brazil, and Argentina. Things are starting to move now. Things are starting to roll. And look, I'm not a historian or an economist with a great depth of knowledge about any of these countries, but from their perspective, what do they have to lose? What do they have to lose by trying out this new system that, for a lot of countries, excuse me, that are very heavily dependent on remittance transfers and that are having, in some instances, their own economic turmoil? What do they have to lose? Again, not a historian, not somebody with any great knowledge about Argentina's past, but I'll take this individual at his word. Not even 100 years ago, Argentina was wealthier than Europe and competing with the United States. Do you think they're going to listen to the IMF, the International Monetary Fund, once they have tasted the autonomy and inevitability of Bitcoin? Latin America is re-entering history, and there is nothing you can do to stop them. Yeah, I think Latin America, Central America and South America as well, there's definitely something happening there. I know we can't, jumble them all together. These are all different countries that we're talking about. They're all different cultures, different languages. They're not a monolith by any means, but there's something about that region of the world where they're definitely gravitating toward these solutions. And it all started, of course, with El Salvador, with Nayib Bukele, the president of that nation, El Salvador. Like, this is not some Photoshop that somebody did. This is, first of all, his profile at Nayib Bukele. This is his profile pic. He uploaded this profile pic a couple of days ago. He's got the laser eyes in his own profile pic. This is the president of El Salvador. So that's that first dancer coming out and very, very confidently kind of signaling to the rest of the world, come on in, the water's just fine. Documenting Bitcoin, which I promised we'd get to a moment ago, with a great series of tweets here. Not quite a thread, but a great series of tweets that I wanted to highlight. Yes, the world may seem dark, but there is a small orange spark of hope if you look closely enough. That's all it takes to start a fire. El Salvador and Bitcoin. And I don't even think you can see it unless we enlarge the image. But there's El Salvador right there. So there's that small little spark of hope. And then you guys know the story. It's been rapidly evolving, and it's been, actually developing very, very quickly. But, things are progressing positively. A politician from Brazil has added laser eyes to their Twitter profile picture, indicating support for Bitcoin. They go by the name of Fabio Osterman, and he's the leader of the Party New 30 in Brazil's Legislative Assembly of the state of Rio Grande do Sul. So, as I mentioned, the president of El Salvador with the laser eyes. Now you have a politician from Brazil with the laser eyes. A congressman in the National Assembly now of Panama, representing the 8-7 circuit as an independent politician, has declared his intent to propose Bitcoin-favorable legislation. Gabriel Silva 8_7 says, quote, Panama cannot be left behind. You guys are starting to see that momentum building, that confidence growing. A second member of Brazil's legislation branch has donned the Bitcoin laser eyes on social media. Again, this isn't fan-made. This is them doing it. The politicians are doing this. Gilson Marques was also reportedly the first Brazilian parliamentarian to declare in parliament itself, quote, tax is theft. Sounds like a libertarian to me. Again, Paraguay's deputy of the nation and member of Congress now has Bitcoin laser eyes. Carlito Rayala says he will, quote, start with an important project relating to Bitcoin adoption in the nation. And finally here, the national deputy for Neuquén, Argentina now has Bitcoin laser eyes on their profile picture. I can't believe it, but this is how it is. You guys are starting to see the momentum building and why we crashed 9.5% in these last 24 hours on the back of all of this positive news. It makes you wonder, I've talked about this before. I can't quite prove it with certainty, but I think there are a lot of, let's call them financial interests in the world, mega corporations that have a vested interest in making sure that the Panamas and the Argentinas and the Brazils and the Paraguays and the El Salvadors of the world don't rise up and adopt this kind of thinking. Personally, I think right now that whatever the machine, whatever you want to call it, the institutions that are against crypto and Bitcoin, just because they don't have a hold on it just yet, they need a little bit more time. I think they're throwing everything that they have. I mentioned the FUDsters at the outset of the video. I think the FUDsters are working overdrive right now, throwing everything that they have at you to try to convince you to stay away from this space, to sell at a low, to make sure that you don't even consider purchasing more Bitcoin or crypto or altcoins. And I don't think it's working because the message when it comes to a lot of these, I don't want to call them impoverished countries. There's some great people living some great lives in some of those countries, but these are not the economic powerhouses of the world. These aren't the United States. These aren't China. These are governments, like I said, respectfully, with in some cases nothing to lose. So why not? This is a problem for those pulling the strings, for certain puppet masters out there. And Dan Collins here frames it, I think, pretty well. Again, the analogy of dancing, the analogy of dominoes, whatever you want to use. Lots of metaphors are available. Imagine all the people of Central and South America realizing they no longer have to lose their life savings every decade in a government-created hyperinflationary currency collapse. Very well said. You can see that first domino. El Salvador leads to Paraguay, leads to Panama, leads to Brazil. And this was posted just yesterday. It's already, I guess, kind of out of date because the next domino would have been Argentina. I'm curious to know, after Argentina, so we now have those five: El Salvador, Paraguay, Panama, Brazil, Argentina. After Argentina, what do you feel may be the next domino to fall? Maybe you are a Central or South American member of the Altcoin Buzz Army. I'd be very interested to hear your thoughts about that. Maybe it could be a country even like Mexico, because the whole argument started, talking about El Salvador, the whole argument started because it was a country that was plagued by civil war. It was, I believe, the sixth, to quote yesterday's statistics, the sixth largest country in terms of inbound remittances. I could see a country that's heavily dependent on remittances in another part of the world, like perhaps the Philippines, for example. I could see them joining this consortium, if you will, of countries. There's no reason it has to stay bound to Central and South America. But if it does continue to grow in that region, I could see a country like Mexico with a huge inbound remittance economy saying, yeah, you know what, I think this could suit us. Now, Mexico, being an ally of the United States, maybe wouldn't want to, poke the bear, poke the dragon, poke the lion, whatever you want to call it. But those are a couple of countries that come to mind for me. So that's my question to you guys. What do you feel would be the next country after Argentina? What will be the next domino to enter the discussion here? Now, with all of this happening, there are still the naysayers. Like I said, FUDsters working in overdrive right now. Plan B at 100 trillion USD, commenting on his stock to flow S2F model. A few months ago, people said that the S2F model was invalidated, broken, because, quote, all models are broken, to the upside. Now people think the S2F is invalidated, broken, and Bitcoin is dead because some Elon banning hacking FUD. In my opinion, it is normal deviation, just like 2019 bottom or COVID 2020. And just to enlarge this a little bit so you guys can see it better, you can see here, you have these patterns that are pretty standard when it comes to stock to flow. You have tops and bottoms, 2019 bottom, which he was referencing here, March 2020 COVID bottom, which you can see right here, more or less fits in line with this recent local bottom that we're experiencing now, again caused by Elon, Federal Reserve, Trump, China, India, all these FUD attacks that were suspiciously converging at the same time. I Can't prove that they were coordinated, but I heavily suspect that they were. You guys know I like to wear the tinfoil hat from time to time. I think increasingly to don a tinfoil hat these days shows that you're a little bit of a rational thinker. It's a slippery slope, but I think you guys know what I mean. Lex Moskovsky here, 22,550 Bitcoin withdrawn from exchanges yesterday on aggregate. And just for reference, this is the biggest net outflow of the year. Just an individual metric, kind of anecdotal and isolated in nature, but not a bad observation to make. So interesting to see that we're still doing as badly as we are. Let's update just for poops and giggles here to see where things stand. And we're at $1.562 trillion, down a little bit more. Bitcoin right now just teetering above $33,000. It's preposterous. To all the central bankers out there, to all of the financial interests that want to crash crypto, keep going. I'll be buying, like I said, at 25K. I'll be buying Bitcoin at 20K, 15K, 10K, 5K. I'll be buying it at $1. And I'll be buying all my corresponding altcoins, some of my favorites out there, which you guys know, include my forever holds for altcoins. I've talked about this in the past, but a lot of Bitcoin talk recently. So just to revisit some of those, some of my favorite altcoins that I don't think I'll ever sell, or at least in the near term, are definitely Theta, Cardano. Ethereum is probably number one. What else do I like? CRO, just because that ecosystem I think is growing. Litecoin, because it's a perennial, and probably VeChain as well. I don't see myself ever getting rid of VeChain. And with that segue, let's take a look at some VeChain news here. And this is just, it's somewhat speculative, but I think we can kind of see that the writing is on the wall. Prior to this, I guess, crash that we've seen this last week and over these last 24 hours, the latest crash, I suppose, VeChain was actually doing pretty well. VeChain happens to be down 17.7% today, which is just so gross. But if you take a look at the last week, the last 7 days, let's make it the last 14 days, VeChain was looking actually like it was rebounding relatively well. It was showing quite a bit of strength, up to almost 15 cents. Not too bad. Still short of its all-time high of about 28 cents. But, VeChain was rallying pretty nicely kind of between the end of May and the first week or so of June. It saw some major gains, about 50% gains, in fact. Different right now proposals as to why that may have been. This from a few days ago. VeChain and DNV's My Baby was featured on Chinese state-owned TV channel STV. With the official launch attended by government officials, we gained mainstream recognition just a day after the launch. VET continues to lead. Subbed VR, VER to come later, subversion, I guess, to come later. You can check out the video if you're interested. And this has led many to pontificate that VeChain and VET, by extension, could very well partner with the Chinese government to expand blockchain. I think this is part of the reason why, in a speculative sense, we were seeing a lot of very, very positive VeChain attention and price action at a time when a lot of other projects were kind of stagnating or were actually bleeding price. Officials from 3 main China districts visited VeChain's Singapore office to facilitate a partnership. Again, this is very much rooted in speculation, so I think that's all there really is to say at the moment about this, but you can check it out. We're on invez.com. I'll link to this below if you'd like to explore in further detail. Polygon, also with this update here, one of 3 updates. Our next project, Polygon, aka MATIC, by the way, our next project on Project Spotlight is Avegachi, a fun and vibrant Tamagotchi-inspired digital pets game that combines the goodness of NFTs, non-fungible tokens, DeFi, and DAOs. Avegachi was one of the earliest NFT projects to launch on Polygon, with an amazing community that is constantly pushing the NFT gaming space forward with innovations like DeFi integrations, on-chain art, and NFT raffles, all on Polygon. The founders are originally from the US, but met in China and speak great Mandarin. With collaborations with top projects like Snapshot Labs, Aave, and Chainlink, Avegachi is constantly pushing forward the frontiers of Web 3.0 gaming. Every day, it seems like Polygon is in the news. Polygon and so MATIC and probably Chainlink are 2 of my favorite projects that are just about like every single day in the news, announcing some kind of new partnership. Whether or not we're in a bear market, that's for you to decide. I would contest that. But like even when times are bad, the point is that these are not fair weather fans of in the cryptocurrency space, or fair weather projects, I suppose. Like, these guys are always working, always collaborating, always forging ahead, no matter what. Kudos to Polygon on that integration. And finally, we have this update courtesy of Linear Finance. At Linear Finance here is the Twitter handle. So this is from a few days ago, but we have a relevant update. Our Linear vaults are now unlocked. Earn passive income, which is the name of the game in cryptocurrency. If you're not earning passive income, you're doing it wrong. And by the way, just a quick tangent here, a quick aside. Let's say you're in passive income and we do enter a bear market, and there you go. We have to endure another couple of years, however long it is, but you figure, look, I'm in it for the long term. I don't want to sell in the next year, in the next month or whatever. I want to sell my cryptocurrency, if at all, but I want to hold on to it for at least 10 years, maybe 15, 20 years. You may as well be getting yourself passive income over the course of any extended bearish time. Because then, whatever you've accumulated in that denomination that you're interested in, i.e. crypto denomination, it's going to be worth a whole lot more when things hit new all-time highs. Just my 2-cent tangent right there. Our Linear vaults are now unlocked. Earn passive income by staking LUSD and or PancakeSwap LP tokens. Interest paid in LUSD and BUSD is on a first come, first serve basis. Interest paid in LINA is available uncapped. Details are available on medium.com/linearfinance. If you're looking for a little bit of a how-to and more information on this, specifically the vault system for LINA, which is now live, you can check out this piece on altcoinbuzz.io. Up and coming DeFi platform, Linear Finance. LINA is the token, LINA. Much anticipated vaults is finally live. Check out the piece from yesterday. It is by Rachel. All right, the time has come for our $50 Ethereum giveaway. By the way, all previous winners, really up until even yesterday's winner that was announced, should now have received the latest batch of $50 in Ether. So check your wallets in case you've been wondering. We batch these kinds of things once a week. It's just easier to send out the prize money that way, the prize assets, if you will, logistically. But everybody should have received their Ether by now. With that being said, we're giving away Ether for the winner of yesterday's comment. So we're going to go to the first of 2 videos that we released yesterday talking about all of the altcoin winners that were up significantly, about 24 hours ago. It's no longer the case right now, unfortunately, for some of them. You guys are doing, as always, a decent job, but way, way more comments than likes. Look at this, 496 comments. I'm happy about that, but only 73 likes. There's a mismatch there because in order to be eligible for the prize money for $50 in Ether, you got to like the video. You got to like as well as comment on the video with the letters ETH or the word Ethereum. And of course, you have to subscribe to Altcoin Buzz News. If you do those 3, you are eligible for the prize. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to share the URL here. This is from yesterday's video just to make sure. Yes, June 7th. Go over to Raffle Dash here. As always, I try to do this live. As long as you meet the criteria, you are potentially a winner. And we have here, pulled at random, Matthew North. Big thank you, ETH. Matthew, I like the name. Congratulations, buddy. You are the winner of $50 worth of ETH. Matthew, please go back to yesterday's video. So that's this one right here. Please go back and locate this comment that you issued. Reply to your own comment with the Ethereum address to which you would like us to send you your $50 worth of ETH. We're probably going to be doing this for about another week or so, guys. So stay tuned over the course of the next, 5, 7, maybe 10 days. Eventually, this contest is, we're going to have to retire it, but we'll probably be doing it for about another week or so. Very easy to enter. You may as well. Matthew North, congratulations on the win. That is it for today, members of the Altcoin Buzz Army. Do be sure you're following us on all the regular social media channels. Keep checking back into our beautiful website, altcoinbuzz.io. And let me know, again, after El Salvador, Paraguay, Panama, Brazil, and Argentina, what you guys think is the next country that's going to join this loose, consortium of pro-Bitcoin nations? I'd be very curious to hear your predictions. Mine on the basis of remittance economies. Again, the Philippines and Mexico. Just throwing it out there. But I'd like to see those two really sizable nations be added into this discussion. I think that'd be really cool. Guys, none of this is financial advice, as you know, but best of luck if you do choose to invest. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to like, subscribe, share, hit the bell to receive notifications as well. Have a terrific Tuesday. Stay safe. As always, we do hope to see you again soon in our next video. Take care.